What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now, Back to the Past. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about The Crew and some very interesting comments from Ubisoft. Now, to catch you up on this entire thing, right, as we all know, in fact, I did a video back in the day when this game was shut down. Well, it was shut down. And much like we know with a lot of these online multiplayer experiences, when the game is shut down, when the servers are turned off, right, the game loses pretty much all of its value, considering the entire game is built off of playing it online, okay? We've seen this numerous times. I try to make videos when games, quote-unquote, die, RIP blank game. I've done it several times on the channel. Now, we've heard the quote before with, like, their subscription, I don't know, analyst manager guy. Remember the whole idea of, like, get used to not owning games, right? Infamous line. I don't even think I said it perfectly right, but the idea that when you get a game, you don't actually have that game. Ubisoft, of course, I mean, that guy was a real genius for saying that out loud, but honestly, he's saying the quiet part out loud. We know this for a lot of games. You are basically, this is what's interesting about what we're about to talk about, because they say it. They once again say the quiet part out loud. When you buy games, just kind of in general, you are buying a license to play the game. In fact, you're more like renting a license to do it. Now, this is actually not all that surprising. I think music is probably, and I mean, I'm not that much, I mean, I do play guitar. I am a little bit into music, but I don't know too much about the industry. I feel like that is the closest comparable, that pretty much anything in the music industry, yeah, if you have a CD, if you have a vinyl, for sure. But when it comes to digital anything with music, you do not own if you buy a song, you are renting a license to listen to the song. When you buy a game, you are renting the license to play the game. You are not actually owning the game itself. Obviously, a pretty big deal for game preservationists. That's what this channel is about. So I thought this would be a good video for the channel. Now, what we have to talk about in this video basically is a lawsuit. So when they shut the game down, I believe in California, there's some sort of law that, and they tried to get them, right? Two people sued Ubisoft and said, okay, well, I think it really went down to like the in-game currency, like gift cards, because in California, I believe like gift cards never expire. And when you shut the game down, so if you bought a gift card, select money, whatever on the game, they shut the game down, you have no way of using, there's nothing to use that card for, which would, I guess, technically be illegal, at least in the state of California. So that was their avenue to go after Ubisoft. Now, this issue in court is not done. Nobody, I believe, has won this yet. Ubisoft is trying to get the case thrown out because in their argument, basically, they say it's assumed that when you buy this game, they assume that consumers know they do not actually own the game. So again, from the attacking Ubisoft perspective, what they're trying to get them for is that, hey, it is misleading. You do kind of advertise that you own the game, much like everybody advertises that you would own the game. Again, they're trying to get them, I think, through the gift card, but just in general, they say generally you own the game, and then Ubisoft is arguing, well, you don't own any game. And so honestly, I know it's kind of a smaller story. I know it's kind of maybe a smaller issue to people who generally cares about the Crew or the original Crew. But again, I think in terms of saying the quiet part out loud, this is something that I think a lot of people need to hear, right? Because this is the idea that you don't own anything. You don't maybe own anything in life. You definitely don't own video games, okay? So let's really quickly, let's just read a couple of quotes from this article from Video Games Chronicle that kind of breaks it down. So they talk about the plaintiffs claim the product's packaging falsely represented that the Crew itself was encoded onto physical discs or the digital files consumers could pay to download, when in fact the physical discs and downloaded files consumers paid for were more akin to a key they could use to open the gates of this remote server, which defendants could one day decide to fail to maintain. Now, Ubisoft claims that players should have no expectation that they were purchasing unfettered ownership rights in the game. Now, again, at the top here, they even say at the time, the plaintiffs claim that Ubisoft misled players by telling them they were buying a game when in fact all they were renting was a limited license to access a game that basically Ubisoft could decide to do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, right? So, again, just the quiet part out loud. And honestly, it's a really simple comeback from Ubisoft. Like, you might not like it. I mean, I don't like it myself, but it's a very easy comeback to just say, I know that we kind of advertise advertise it as you buy a game. In fact, when you go on Amazon, when you go on the PlayStation Store, what are you doing? You are literally buying the product. That's the words. There's actually really no other way of saying it. You are buying pick a game that just came out. You're buying Assassin's Creed Shadows. You're going to buy Obscure Expedition 33. You're buying the games. But in reality, are you really? And the issue, and maybe this can lead somewhere. Maybe. I mean, I guess maybe it depends on the certain state. Maybe it depends on a country. I think we need to kind of rewrite some of this stuff or just kind of analyze like the fine print, right? Because they keep saying you're buying it. They're advertising it to you that they're selling you the video game. But in reality, they have the source code. They have the game. They are selling you, again, the license to rent the game, kind of an unlimited supply. They're renting that game out to like 5-10 million people, right? And at any point, they can pull that back. That kind of tree diagram, right? This like family tree just kind of pulls back to the top whenever they feel like it. And it's not just Ubisoft. It's ironic that Ubisoft is the one that keeps telling us, like, don't get used to buying games. In fact, you're not actually buying games. And then they're doing this court stuff. It's ironic that this is the situation. But in reality, okay, this is about Ubisoft, but it's also kind of not. This is the industry by itself. EA, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, you don't own any of these games. And now look, is there anything little old me can really do about it other than complaining on YouTube? Not really. Am I a hypocrite because I still buy games? Maybe. You can make whatever opinion you want on me. I don't really care. But, that's it's something that happens all the time. And it's sad. I really just think the only thing that we really can do is talk about it. To be honest with you, you talk about it, anybody talks about it, and maybe, eventually something can happen. I don't really know. It's got to be legally, like somewhere in a law, you'd have to kind of change this to stop them from getting away from it. Anything. Even like, and I think California, somebody's doing something in terms of like kind of putting something on the box or putting something like as an ad that you can see it. You can see kind of what's really going. I forget the context. I forget what it is. But my point being, you can actually, I think, an easy, very quick method to at least alert people is just do that. Like when you go on the store, PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, when you walk into a physical store, I know that's less and less. Anytime you buy a game, just have a sign. Have it on the box. Have it on the PlayStation Store in the top right under like an information tab. You don't even have to necessarily flash it directly in front of people. Have it somewhere that you can easily access. Have the legal jargon. You are renting the licensed IP, like whatever you want to say, right? Make it complicated for people. I don't care. Put whatever you want, but say it. Say it. Tell people when they buy a game that in all reality, I mean, this is like the dumb person, conversion of this. Somebody like me would understand this. Just say that, hey, you're renting this game. You think you're buying it, but you're actually renting it. Now, you can complicate that sentence. You can use legal jargon. You can confuse people, but just have it there. Have it there so at least people can say, and you can tell your friend, hey, just make sure you read that, right? Because in case they don't believe you, hey, just make sure you're reading that because they actually admit to you right there that you're not actually buying it. Every single game is like it. It really should be just like a one-size-fits-all issue, or something that you can actually put in these titles or descriptions. Should be rather easy. That I think is the easiest and most straightforward thing you can do. It's not going to really fix anything. Most people don't read fine print, including myself. I wouldn't probably read it, but at least it's there. At least it's there in case you don't know it. At least you can see it, right? So that's just my opinion on it. Great day overall. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.